come for your jewels. Praise Yahweh and greatly to be praised in the city that bears his name, the city of Elohim.
Shabbat Shalom, family. My name is Jason.
I'm Caden. I'm Jaden.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Eli.
And we are the Yahuwah and the Torah channel, and we thank you guys very, very, very much. Just seeing you guys in the chat, it is absolutely amazing to be a part of this with you guys and to be able to sit around and to be able to spend time with our family. And our family, by the definition of our Messiah, are the people who keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of his Father. And that is who our family is. That is who our brothers is. That is who our mothers are. That's who our father is. That's who our relations are. If you're looking for the people who are your family, the family who are law keepers are your family. And that's the only family that we would want. That's the only family that we will need. And we are the family who believes that the first 5 books of scriptures, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, are the foundational guideposts for everything in life. It is within those 5 books that we know them as the books of wisdom. And in these 5 books, we learn the heart, mind, and soul of our Creator. We learn how he wants us to operate, how he operates. We learn how he wants us to worship and how he wants us to be his people. And inside of these first 5 books, we are given a promise. We are given a covenant. And this covenant that we are given is a beautiful, beautiful covenant that the creator of the universe, the most powerful entity that's ever been known to anybody, has said, I will be your Elohim and you will be my people if you will keep my laws, statutes, and commandments. Now, a lot of people, in fact, most of religions that we have out there, they have no value on the first part of the book. The only value they have is about 7/8 of the way through the book, where they take words that are made by a man that wasn't to them at a time that wasn't to them, and they will make doctrine out of it. And this doctrine is something that is very scary when you compare it to scriptures. In the doctrine of modern day religion, there is a freedom of not keeping the laws of our Creator. There's a freedom in doing the wishes of ourselves and understanding that this is not actually a freedom, but it is a curse. And the greatest curse that any one of us could ever have is not knowing what the Torah says. When we don't know the first 5 books of scriptures, we're walking out into a very hardcore war, a spiritual war of things that will manifest all around us, and we are not prepared because we don't know the laws. We don't have them as frontlets before our eyes. We don't understand that they are meant to keep us alive and they are meant to give us a walk. And it's just not a walk in this realm. It is a walk to the kingdom. It is a walk to eternity. It is a walk back to our Creator and back to his Son. And this is the path that we are hoping that all of us, all of you guys that are listening, will take. And I know there's a lot of views that come after the live. And if you're still listening to this and you're just meandering around listening in, guys, we're coming up onto a part where we're going to go over these laws, statutes, and commandments. And before you throw them in the ditch, before you throw an axe into me, please listen to them and please see which ones don't matter for you. Which laws, which precious, beautiful laws of our Creator don't mean anything, because when you start pinpointing which laws don't make it or which you don't think it doesn't need or fit the bill for your life, then we are going against the wishes of our Creator. And the laws aren't hard, guys. The laws are very, very easy. We have been lied to, and people said these will put you into bondage, when in fact that is a lie. It is 180 degrees opposite of that, because if you do not keep the laws of our Creator, then you are in bondage. That is the bondage, is living in the sin of the devil, living in the sin of Hasatan, and not caring about the ways and wishes of our Creator. Cade, will you please open us in prayer?
Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for bringing us all together once again as a family on your day, the day you have sanctified, the day you have blessed. And we ask that your word today is what we are to understand, that we can see the deeper meanings to your word, that we can see what you have meant for our lives, which you have given to us through the Torah, what you've given to us with your Son, with the Messiah, with our Savior. We ask that your blessings are upon us today, that you walk with us today, and we thank you for all in His name. Amen.
Okay, here we are. Let's Jade, will you please give us a Shema, our people. And guys, before we begin, the Shema is it means hear and obey. And I was just talking to a brother in chains about the Shema and about the importance of hearing and obeying. And when we are ministering to those into chains, the brothers and sisters in chains, it's the same as ministering to all of us who are out in the world. In fact, some of the guys that are actually in death row that are in chains 24/7 are actually more free than some of the so-called Christians that we hear on the channel. The once saved, always saved. You know, all of these doctrines of men that are absolutely soul-killing devices. A lot of guys in chains get this. And so this is what our hopes and wishes are, is that you guys will hear and you will obey what our Creator has said. And these aren't old verses. These aren't something from back in the day. These are something that are absolutely relevant to all of us today. They will be relevant forever and ever. Jade.
Hear, O Israel, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah is one. You shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, and with all your being, and with all your might. And these words I am commanding you today shall be in your heart, and you shall impress them upon your children, and shall speak of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up, and shall bind them to the sign of your hand, and they shall be frontlets between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates.
Yeah, beautiful sayings, right? I mean, do we see anything more beautiful than this? It's literally a love letter to us from our Creator, right? By the hands of Moshe writing this, that we are to love our Creator with all our heart, mind, and soul. And one of the things that somebody wrote in the comments this week is that, when I was trying to convince people that, hey, our Creator does not like rebellious children. And a person in the comment wrote something like, just like we as parents don't like rebellious children. And that kind of hit home with me, because it really does sum it up, that all of us, anyone who's a parent out there, first of all, if you're a parent, word up, shout out. If you survived it and you made it through, you're raising kids and you haven't died, congratulations. It is a hard journey. It is a very profitable journey in terms of family building, but it is oftentimes hard. And so if you guys, if you guys have raised these kids and understand that when we have rebellious kids, it drives parents nuts, doesn't it? I mean, it absolutely infuriates us. We just don't know why. And when we live in sin, when we're sitting here eating abominable food, when we're worshiping on the wrong day, when we're breaking all these laws, statutes, and commandments, our Creator isn't sitting up there, cheering us on, giving us claps, hey, way to go, guys, congratulations, you've almost kind of got the concept. It's not like that at all. He has protected His word. All of these laws, statutes, and commandments are protected for us in the 6,000th year that we are out here heading into our 7,000th year, right? The laws, statutes, and commandments are absolutely a beautiful, wondrous thing. If you guys will wait for 5 minutes, we'll go over these here in a second, and it may change your life forever, guys. These things may just be something that you will want to put as frontlets between your eyes, because if you don't have them be frontlets between your eyes and you're observing the world naked, and you don't want to do that. Miss Nicole, who do we got?
All right, we have Candy and Ruby. We have Cindy LJ. We have Joanna, Tess, Cindy's mom, Jeannie Not of This World, Joanna, Sylvia, Andy and Elizabeth, the Grand, Charles, that's a new name, so welcome to you.
What's up, Charles?
Still scrolling here. The Grand, Mama CA, Sylvia. We also have Sound City Solutions.
What's up, Sound City Solutions?
Scott Freeman.
Scott's back, man, brother. He's been gone for a while, huh?
Yeah, he said he missed us.
Yeah, we missed him. It's been a while.
I don't know if Larry got a hold of him, but Larry was going to get a hold of him. So
yeah, Larry's out, but Larry's been sick, Scott. So he's been in and out of the hospital. So he's been emailing us. I need to email him back as well. Okay, so guys, what we're about to do right here is, did we get a hold of everyone?
I think so. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry.
Yes, and good. He got a hold of you. That's great. Yeah, I have 4 adult children, Tessie. Yes, they. Congratulations for surviving.
The grand
parenthood.
says she's a rebellious child, rebellious child vet.
A rebellious child vet. Yeah, yeah. So a lot of us have some purple hearts, right? We have some purple hearts in the raising children thing. It's not easy. It's not easy, but it's absolutely something I would never ever change, and it's something that if you are able to survive, big props. All right, here we go. Now, what we're going to do, guys, is we are going through these laws, statutes, and commandments. The most beautiful, wondrous, boisterous, amazing things that you guys will ever see, that you will ever have. They are right before us. And in the chat, as we're going through, I love the live chat. So if you guys have something interesting on discussion or you guys want to chit chat about any of these laws, they don't make sense to you, this isn't something that should be for us, let's talk about this. Let's try to find an answer to this and look at these, because I've never found one of these verses or any of these scriptures that doesn't make a lot of sense. And so let us start working through these, and let's roll. Be fruitful.
Multiply. Replenish the earth.
Subdue it. Have dominion over the fish, fowl, and every living creature.
Hey, Big Red's in too. Hey, what's up, Rodney? How you doing, brother?
We also have another one called The Judge. That's a new name.
The Judge. That's cool, man. That's a cool name, bro. Okay, let's roll it, guys.
The earth bearing every tree is for food.
Men and women should build their own families.
Masterson. Every clean moving thing that lives shall be food for you.
Do not eat the blood.
Walk before me and be perfect.
Slow down, fellas.
Guard Yahuwah's covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments.
Every male shall be circumcised 8 days old.
You shall learn commands and guard the way of Yahuwah. Remember Yahuwah's name for all generations.
Keep the Passover, Pesach.
Let's go back. Let's go back real quick. This, for whatever reason, every male shall be circumcised at 8 days old. You know, I have to have this discussion with people because this is one of these commandments that people are like, well, your Elohim, your creator is crazy, right? He just wants, there's something about blood, there's something about cutting, there's something all about this. And you will have people that will completely argue that a baby at 8 days old is able to remember all of this. And I would say that I don't think that's even possible. But let's talk about what circumcision is and why it is important and why it is on the hand of the people of our Creator. Number one, circumcision was not a big thing back in the days. When this was actually a command, nobody was circumcised. Nowadays in this world, it's at least in North America, it's just pretty much the standard of what it is. Now, what I explain to people is this entire thing is about a mark upon the people of our Creator that separated them completely. It wasn't just a spiritual mark, but this is a physical mark that we had. And in today's world, a lot of us don't understand this because we're 6,000 years beyond the days that this has all happened. So we don't know the truth from fiction on this whole thing. But it is important that it is clearly a mark upon the people of our Creator. And there's certain things like Passover that if you are not circumcised, you are not to take part in. And so it's one of these things. It's not that you have a bloodletting Elohim that's out there. He loves blood. He loves sacrifice, because that's not it at all. To anyone that ever reads scriptures, you guys understand that's not it. Our Creator makes a tremendous amount of sense in this. And like all of his stuff, he wants us marked in a certain way. Okay, continuing on. Teach your children the commands and guard the way of Yahuwah.
Remember Yahuwah's name for all generations. Keep the Passover, Pesach.
Keep the feast of unleavened bread, festival of Matzah.
There are one Torah for the stranger and one for the Hebrew. Sanctify all firstborn to Yahuwah.
There are no mighty ones before Yahuwah.
You shall not make graven images. Do not bring Yahuwah's name to naught.
Keep the Shabbat.
Honor your parents. Do not kill.
Do not break wedlock.
I can't even go as fast as you guys are going, guys. I'm going to spin these guys' heads right up to the top of the thing. So slow down just a little bit. Do not kill. Do not break wedlock.
Do not steal. Do not make false accusations against your neighbor.
Do not covet anything of your neighbor's.
Do not make an altar from rock that a tool has touched. Do not go up to the altar by the steps.
If a man steals cattle, he shall restore it 5 times.
Yahuwah's laws for criminals. Do not lie with beasts.
No sacrifice to other Elohim.
Do not oppress the stranger, fatherless, or widow. Do not charge your brother interest.
If you borrow your neighbor's raiment, return it to him before sunset.
Do not curse the ruler of your people. Do not eat what is torn of any beast.
No false report.
Do not follow a multitude of evil. Do not judge unrighteously against the poor.
Bring back your enemy's cattle if you find it going astray.
Help the animals of your enemy. Stay away from rumors and gossipers.
Take no bribes.
Do not oppress a stranger.
Love the stranger.
Give your land rest in the 7th year.
Do not mention any pagan names.
Keep the feasts of Yahuwah. Do not cook your goat in his mother's milk.
Obey the messenger Yahuwah sends before you.
Do not bow down to other Elohim. Serve Yahuwah.
Make no covenant with other Elohim or outsiders of the land.
Do not make use of anointing oil on an old person. Do not make use of perfume on an old person. Do not eat the fat.
Do what you say you are going to do.
Return
what is your neighbor's.
Obey Yahuwah's dietary laws.
Okay, let's go over this real quick. In the dietary laws, I want to kind of go over this a little bit real quick because I was talking to a brother, and I think he has like life sentence plus 90 or something, and then he ended up trying to kill a guy in there. And so he's actually in solitary right now, but he's actually turned to the way of our Creator. And we were discussing stuff because a lot of you guys may not realize this, and I didn't realize this. I thought it was only in the movies. But in the prison system, there's mice running all over this place. And so our home brother Tom, he and I were discussing Leviticus 11, and he's like, oh, I used to have pet mice, and we all have pet mice, and they're really, really cool. But he's like, I don't want to touch them because they're unclean. And I'm like, brother, it doesn't say that we're not to touch them. It says we're not to touch the carcass of them. And he goes, oh, that's great. He's like, I'm going to grab one tonight. And so he actually got a pet mouse. He has his new pet mouse. And I guess everybody in there, and as repulsive, as crazy as that may sound to all of you guys that is out there, these guys don't have any sort of entertainment whatsoever. So a little rodent that comes around that they're able to befriend into a little mouse is kind of custom in there. And so Tom's got a new mouse friend because now he figures out it's the carcass that we're not supposed to touch. So continuing on. Women's time of separation. Don't be near them. Don't go into them.
Obey Yahuwah's hygiene laws. The Day of Atonement, Yom HaKippurim.
Do not uncover the nakedness of your family.
Do not take your woman's sister for wife.
Do not lie with a woman in her uncleanness.
You shall not sacrifice your children to Moloch. Do not be a sodomite.
Be Kodesh, holy.
Do not reap the corn of your field, or you shall not glean your vineyard. Do not deal falsely or defraud your neighbor.
Do not lie or be a liar.
Pay your workers for the day's wage they are due. Do not harm the disabled.
Do not endanger your neighbor.
Do not hate your brother. Rebuke your neighbor for his sin.
Love your neighbor as yourself.
Do not diverse your cattle. Do not mingle your seed.
Do not mingle linen and wool.
Do not lie with a taken woman. Do not eat the fruit of the trees for 3 years.
Do not practice sorcery.
Do not.
Hold on, let's talk real quick. So, if you look up the definition of a carcass is dead. If you were Sound City Solutions, if you were to say that touching an animal like a mouse, a live mouse, is wrong, that's not a carcass. That would be the same for a dog. If you were to touch a dog, you would be unclean. It's same for a cow, or not a cow. Cow's actually clean. But any animal that is a pig, right? If you touched a pig, that would be unclean to you, and that's not the command. And so, as much as we're disagreeing on this, I suppose we'll have to agree to disagree. That when you're looking at the definition of a carcass, we're talking to dead, something very dead. And that makes a tremendous amount of sense as these things, the way they die and the way they are. But anyway, let's continue on. Let's roll.
Do not round the corners of your beard or the corners of your head. Do not cut yourself for the dead.
Do not get tattoos.
Do not prostitute your daughter. Do not defile your temple.
Do not consult the medium.
Respect your elders. Have correct weights and measures. Do not walk in the manners of the nation.
Keep the feast of first fruits, Shavuot, Omer Count, Pentecost.
Keep the feast of trumpets, Yom Teruah. Keep the feast of Sukkot, Shemini Atzeret.
If you blaspheme the name of Yahuwah, you shall be put to death.
If you kill every animal, you must give him another. Repay injury for injury.
Honor the Yobel, Jubilee year.
Face your sins, Yahuwah, and repay who you have trespassed against. The Torah of being a Nazir.
For it is easy on the four corners of your garments.
The laws of whoever touches a corpse.
Follow Yahuwah's law of inheritance.
The law of keeping your oath to Yahuwah. Do not add.
Yeah, okay. You finish that one.
Do not add or take away from the word.
Okay, so I think Graham made a great point because today we are actually talking about Messiah, and yeah, a donkey and a horse. Those are unclean animals. So in the event of this, we would have had our Messiah get on an unclean animal, and if that was the case of the carcass, then he would have been unclean until evening. But it wasn't, right? And I don't think our Messiah would be like messing around with stuff like that. So continue on.
Guard your soul. Learn to fear Yahuwah.
You shall love Yahuwah with all your heart.
Find the Torah laws upon your hands, and the frontlets between your eyes.
Write the Lord laws on your doorposts. Do not tempt Yahuwah.
Do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah.
Do not be afraid of your enemies. Remember Yahuwah.
Circumcise your heart.
Cleave to Yahuwah. Swear by his name.
Destroy graven images.
Do not make an idol of Yahuwah as the pagans do to their Elohim. Rejoice in all Yahuwah has blessed you with.
Do not do what is right in your own eyes.
Do not hearken to the words of the false prophets. Do not make any baldness between your eyes for the dead.
You shall not eat any abominable thing.
You shall give to a stranger clean food that dies of itself, but you shall not eat of it. Give tithe of your increase of seed year by year.
The laws at the end of the 7-year release.
Do not borrow from the nations. Do not harden your heart, nor shut your hand from the poor.
Guard month 1 of Yahuwah's calendar.
3 times a year all males shall appear before Yahuwah. You shall make judges and officers in all your gates.
Do not plant Asherah poles near the altar.
There must be 2 or 3 witnesses. Hearken unto the prophet Yahuwah has chosen.
The prophetess of Deuteronomy.
Do not remove your neighbor's property line. How to deal with a false witness among Torah keepers.
The first child get double portions.
If your brother's cattle or clothes are lost and you find them, you must return them. A woman should not wear what pertains to a man, nor a man wear what pertains to a woman.
If you find a bird's nest with the mother and the babies, or eggs, take the babies, but not the mother.
If you build a new house with a flat roof that is able to be lived on, you must put a line around it. Do not be a prostitute.
Do not use dirty money.
The law of divorce. Do not take a person's millstone for a pledge.
If you lend to your brother, do not enter his house to get your payment. He must bring it to you. Return his clothing before sunset, if that was his pledge.
Do not oppress a hired servant that is poor and needy. Every man shall be put to death for his own sin.
Do not go back for the forgotten sheep in the field. Leave for the stranger, fatherless, and widow.
Do not muzzle your ox when he treads out grain. If your brother dies and has no child, you shall take his wife and name the firstborn after your brother. At the end of 7 years, you are to read the Torah at the Feast of Sukkot.
Okay, so there we are, guys. We have the greatest things that have ever been given to mankind, which is the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator. The same thing that in Revelation tells us that when we are doing them, those are the ones who are saved. The ones who are saved are those who obey the laws, statutes, and commandments and have the faith of our Messiah. It's a two-way street. It's something that we all need to do. And if you only have one of the streets, if you're only sitting there and you have no Torah whatsoever, it is very, very clearly in Matthew 7 that you are sent to hell. In fact, he doesn't just say it one time in Matthew 7, he says it twice, that depart from me, you who are lawless. As if one time wasn't enough, he tells us again that if we are lawless, we are heading to the brig. Okay, Leviticus 21. Anything?
I was just reading Sound City Solutions, Matthew 21:7.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to sit on a colt without something. I mean, you're going to do you ride on them? Do you not ride on them? Do you have no hands? Do you that just doesn't make any sense, right? Because all the horse riders from back in the day, everybody who's riding their horses, right? Everybody would have been unclean. Anybody who's touching any kind of animals at all, right? We don't have doctrine in there that tells us anything like that. But that's not the case. We're going to get into this right here. Didn't just go throw in jail for 20, 30 years and needs my help going through her stuff. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, that's terrible. Okay, well, hopefully he is going to be okay. All right, so guys, let's get into this. Leviticus 21. This is amazing words that our Creator has given to us through the hands of Moshe. And this is where we begin. Jade, give us a quick breakdown of prior to Leviticus 21, recap if you would.
So the people have been getting the laws. We've been learning about uncleanness and what to do, what not to eat, what we can do, what we should do with the nations when we go in the land, and don't turn to idols. And we've just been getting the commands after we got out of Egypt.
Okay, all right, we'll call that. And Yahuwah said to Moshe, speak to the Kohanim, the sons of Aaron, and say to them, no one is to be defiled for the dead among his people, except for his relatives who are nearest to him, for his mother, and for his father, and for his son, and for his daughter, and for his brother, and for his maiden sister who is near to him, who has had no husband, for her he is defiled. Okay, first of all, who are we talking about? Who are these commandments for
These
exactly?
are for the children of Aaron, the Levites.
These are for, right.
Because they're not supposed to be unclean, because they're supposed to work in the temple, but if a immediate family member dies, then they can be unclean.
And what do this is one of these odd, I guess it's not really odd chapters, but I guess when people die, you're I don't know if it's for everybody, but a lot of people want to grab the dead, right? They want to like grab the dead, the dying, the people that are there. And this is one of these hard things that if in a position of leadership right here, the commandment is no one is to be defiled for the dead. And so it's hard. It's one of these things. If you're in this position and somebody dies, you're going to have to deal with this. A lot like Aaron did when his kids got burned up, right? The commandment for him was don't mourn for them, don't rip your garments. They did wrong. People need to understand that this is not a time to be sad for them. Okay, 4, a leader does not defile himself among his people to profane himself. They do not make any bald place on their heads, and they do not shave the corner of their beard, and they do not make a cutting in their flesh. Okay, these are again things that are to the leaders, right? And things of this nature. There are lots of pagan stuff, right? Don't make any bald place on your head. You know, we've heard this before. We're not to shave. We're not to make our beards beautified, right? We're not supposed to dude them up to where we're cutting them off and making lines and all that kind of stuff in there. And obviously, we're not to make a cutting in our flesh, right? That's what the pagans do. That's not what we do. We have no commands anywhere that we have to cut ourselves or do any of this stuff because our Elohim listens to us. He doesn't require blood out of us to make this happen. 6, they are Kodesh to their Elohim. They do not profane the name of their Elohim, for they bring the offerings of Yahuwah made by fire and the bread of their Elohim, and shall be Kodesh. This is talking about a system and a makeup of almost perfection, right? As perfected as humans can be, because we will accidentally become unclean. There's a lot of things that we will do throughout the course of our day that can make us unclean until night. That is the whole point of being clean and unclean. And when you were dirty back in these days, you couldn't be taking these ceremonies. You wouldn't be the guy that's leading all of this because you are still unclean in the eyes of our Creator. And it gets a little different too as we go to the bottom. Okay, and this is again talking about the leaders of the people of Yisrael who are basically in command of the rest of people. They do not take a woman who is a whore or a defiled woman, and they do not take a woman put away from her husband, for he is Kodesh to his Elohim. And you shall Kadosh him, for he brings the bread of your Elohim. He is Kodesh to you. For I, Yahuwah, who is Kadosh, who Kadosh you, am Kodesh. And again, that is the word for holy. And so our Creator, the people he wants to do the ceremonies for him, where the people are taking, basically appeasing the sins of the people, those people have to be extremely clean and extremely perfected in the eyes of our Creator for this to go down how he wants it to go. 9, and when the daughter of any Kohen profanes herself by whoring, she profanes her father. She is burned with fire. This is a hard command, right? This is one of these things. It's just not pick up the rocks. Burning with fire is a completely different thing. It's a completely different way to die. It would be far more violent and far more horrible than having rocks thrown at you to where you're knocked out cold and dead. So hardcore stuff. If you're a daughter of a priest, you gotta act and conduct yourself in that way. 10. And the Kohen Hagdadal, the high priest, among his brothers, on whose head the anointing oil was poured, and who is ordained to wear the garments, does not unbind his head, nor tear his garments, nor come near any dead body, nor defile himself for his father or his mother, nor go out of the mikdash, nor profane the mikdash of his Elohim. For the sign of dedication of the anointing oil of his Elohim is upon him. I am Yahuwah. Now this goes to talk about the high priest. This is the big guy. This is the one in charge. Now he can't even go in. He can't even touch his father or mother when they are dead. So there's different. Sorry, and I just went over there. We're in 21, guys. Mm-hmm. What's verse?
We are on 10.
10. Okay. So it's different requirements for different leaders with this thing. And this particular guy, he's not to touch even the close relatives of his. 13. Maidenhood, a widow or one put away, a defiled woman or a whore, these he does not take, but a maiden of his own people he takes as a wife. Now these are pretty specific to this job, right? Because we don't have other Torah commands about not taking widows or other things of this nature. But the woman of a priest is absolutely has to be perfected, right? It has to be righteous and look good in the eyes of Yahuwah. 15. Do we have anything going on, chat?
The judge just says, simply put the world is in the terrible condition that it is because they practice everything that the Torah says not to do.
And that is absolutely true. That is absolutely true, right? If you look at the same Torah commands that we had, right? Don't harm the disabled. We do that all the time. There's people that all over the world that harm the disabled. What kind of world would it have? What about helping the poor, helping the widows, helping the indigent, helping those in prison, right? If we did what the Torah said, then this world would not suck as bad as it does. And it does suck because the devil has completely overtaken it. The people don't care. You watch, I don't even know what's on TV anymore, but I would imagine it's far worse than what it was a decade ago. A decade ago, people were pretty much nude. They were doing all sorts of stuff. Homosexuality was just like a big joke, and everybody's doing that kind of stuff. When we have scriptures, we have all of this, right? All of this is what we are told not to do, but because we are in a world that is lawless, right? The laws don't apply to them because they've been nailed to the cross. And when you ask people what law has been nailed to the cross, they don't have an answer. All of them. That's what my mother would say. She said, all of them. And she will tell me I'm going to hell for keeping the commandments. And that's just what her preacher tells her. TV, film, everything teaches you to be lawless. Absolutely. And none of us should be watching TV. We should not be watching this television programming. Our kids, do not do this to your kids. Guys, as parents, we're going to be judged for allowing our kids to go rogue by just sitting there letting them watch the one-eyed sleep snatcher as you have parents on that TV that train your kids to be complete rebels, and then you wonder why they're so rebellious. It's because of the parenting that we allowed them to do. Okay, 15. And he does not profane his offspring among his people, for I am Yahuwah who kadosh him. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to Aaron, saying, no man of your offspring throughout their generations who has any defect is to draw near to bring the bread of his Elohim. For any man who has a defect is not to draw near. A man blind, or one lame, or disfigured, or deformed, a man who has a broken foot, or broken hand, or is a hunchback, or a dwarf, or a man who has a defect in his eye, or eczema, or scab, or is a eunuch. All right, let's talk about this right here, because what we're talking about, we're not talking about anything other than the people that are orchestrating the things of the temple, that are taking care of the people. And our Creator says, for whatever reason, that if you have a defect, it's game over. And so it's simple as eczema. I think a lot of people end up with eczema, and I think you can just get some lotions or something and put on for eczema, can't you? Mm-hmm. Isn't that something fixable? Now, a hunchback, that's I guess that's a defect, or a dwarf. Those are all things that I guess you would not see you wouldn't see them administering in the temple. I don't have a good explanation of this, other than there's a problem with it, and I guess the explanation is everything else our Creator wants in His temple is absolutely perfect, from his people orchestrating it, to the women that they're married to their entire way they conduct themselves, to where they deal with the dead. It all has a way, and this tells you a lot, right? If you have a broken foot or broken hand, you're not going to be ministering. And there's some stuff I don't know. Like, say for instance, you had a Kohen Hagdol and he broke his foot later on. I think once he has a repaired foot, I think he would be okay again. But I don't know. I don't know if that is an actual that's it, right? If his foot heals back up, he's not exactly the same bone structure as it was, and so he's not qualified. I don't have an answer to that. So let's continue on. What you got, Mr.
Rodney
Cole?
just asked if you could put the Hebrew words in English when you're reading, because he's not.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Hebrew with
Like
English.
which words? Which one am I? Which one am I missing?
Like I see one that's coming up, like Mikdash and Kadesh.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Rodney. Definitely, yeah. Keep us on track on this stuff, because we say this stuff because we've done it over and over and over, so we know. Okay, so when we're talking, like, let's look at 21. It says Aaron the Kohen. The word Kohen is priest, is what we're talking about on that. Okay, so let's continue on.
21, right?
22, right? 20, is it
21.
Okay, 21. No man among the offspring of Aaron, the priest, the Kohen, who has a defect is to come near to bring the offerings made by fire to Yahuwah. He has a defect. He does not come near to bring the bread of his Elohim. And what is the Eli? What is the word for Elohim?
It'd be like God.
God, yeah. And so that's, instead of the word, they have God in there. This Elohim is the proper translation of that. 22. He eats the bread of his Elohim, both the most Kodesh and the Kodesh. Only he does not go near the veil or approach the altar, because he has a defect, lest he profanes my Mikdash, For I am Yahuwah who kadosh them. Thus Moshe spoke to Aaron and his sons and to all the children of Yisrael. Okay, so that basically gave us a understanding of how our Creator wanted his down, and it is a perfect way. The thing about us as humans is we come with imperfections. We come as, and it's not imperfections from a creation standpoint. It's that we have as a people that, number one, a lot of us didn't know the Torah growing up. A lot of us did not have parents that even told us about the Torah. My mother told me the laws were dead. And so when parents are complaining about their children growing up to be complete rebels, and we have not taught them the laws of our Creator, that's a major, major problem. Okay, so here we are, guys. We are heading into, paste that app in there. This is the app that we're using, guys. This is Yah Scriptures Google app. It's 100% free of charge. It's a beautiful, wonderful, absolutely awesome app. If you have any Google device, if you only have, say, Android, then you'd have to use like eSword, I think, or not Android, but Apple. You would have to use eSword or something for this. But this is for any Google stuff. It's free. Mr. Cole will stick a link into our chat here. Okay, Jade, Matthew 21. Give me a breakdown of where we are at and what has happened so far.
So Messiah has been going through the places, collecting disciples, teaching people, doing parables, and he is making enemies with the Pharisees. The Pharisees now hate him. The Sadducees hate him. He teaches against their traditions, and he says to follow Yahuwah's law and not the traditions of men that you have been taught over the years, and it upsets them, it angers them, to the point where they plot to kill him. And so we have been learning parables of what the kingdom of heaven is like and what we need to do, what kind of people we need to be to make it into the kingdom of heaven. So we are here in the days of Messiah, where he is teaching and bringing people back into the Torah, restoring the sheep of Israel.
Okay, so here we are, and guys, let me. The first verse right here, it has the name of our Messiah. His name is Yahushua, and this week I didn't realize this, but this is something I learned from my kids this week. Is down here in our Latin America, Batman, his name is Batman. Superman, his name is Superman. Wonder Woman. It's Wonder Woman, right? There's one thing that does not translate when you move to places, right? Names. My name, Jason, is still Jason, but they call me Yason because there aren't any, like, they don't have the just sound down here that in our letter like they have it. In fact, the letter J was not invented till the 1500s. We're talking like 500 and some years ago is when the letter J was actually invented. So there was no letter J. Yet in the 1611, and prior to the 1611 King James Version Bible, they had Isus, I-E-S-U-S, and people will say that's the name of our Creator's son. His name is Yahushua. You could say Yeshua, Yahshua. It's like Joshua with a Y is really what it is. And so when you guys see this is the proper name of the Creator's son. And so just so you know, okay. Where's Latin America? Well, for us, it's Panama.
No, we said where in.
Where in Latin America? Okay. Panama. Okay, yes. 21, verse 1. Here we go. And when they came near to Jerusalem, which is Jerusalem, again, no J's in Hebrew, right? And came to Bet-Fagi at the Mount of Olives, then Yahushua sent to Talmidim. And the Talmidim are disciples, guys. That's the proper way of saying the disciple. He sent two Talmidim, saying to them, go into the village opposite you, and straightway you will find a donkey tied and a colt with her. Loosen and bring them to me. Now this is a little different than a lot of these, because in Yah Scriptures we left whatever was not originally there. Like the word them was always in italics right there, because that's not what was in the original text, but somehow it ended up in all the other texts. So this is interesting because, you know, a lot of people don't realize that we're talking two different animals, right? We're talking about a donkey and her baby that is with her. 3. And if anyone says, you shall say, the Adon needs them, and immediately he shall send them. And all this took place that it might be filled what was spoken by the Navi, saying, and Navi is prophet, right? The prophet, that's just the proper word. And the B is actually the B with an underline is va sound, because it's Navi, saying. Now continuing on, 5. Say to the daughter of Zion, see, your sovereign is coming to you. In a colt, the foal of a donkey. And having done as Yahushua ordered them, they brought the donkey and the colt and laid their garments on them, and he sat on them. And most of the crowd spread their garments on the way, while others cut down branches from the trees and spread them on the way. And I would still go back, and again, I'm not here for any kind of confrontation or anything at all, but I think it's important that we understand what a carcass is. And if anybody has ever gotten on a horse or a donkey or any kind of animal that's off the ground, I don't know as a way that you're not going to be able to touch them. Yes, if you put garments on them, you do all this, you still have to get up on there and you still have to balance on them. Your legs go down unless, I mean, there's a very, very good chance you're going to touch them. And if the argument is that we shouldn't be touching animals because the carcass is unclean, that brings a whole nother set of things that all of us on a day-to-day basis would be unclean. Anybody with dogs, you wouldn't want to have a dog because you would be unclean, right? And we don't have anything in scriptures like that. We've never heard of anything like that. So let's continue on. Spread their garments on the way, while others cut down branches from the trees and spread them on the way. And the crowds who went before and those who followed cried out, saying, Hoshiana to Ben of David. So it's basically saying Hoshiana to the son of David, right? Baruch, blessed is he who is coming in the name of Yahuwah. Hoshiana in the highest. Now, this is something that perhaps the Christian religion or religions in general have missed. But Messiah says he's coming in the name of Yahuwah. So if you're coming in the name of Yahuwah, then you would be coming under the guise of the scriptures, right? You would be coming under the Torah. That is why we know of our Messiah as the Torah made flesh. Now, you will have the people that will argue the Trinity when they talk about things like this. But the concept is very, very simple, because when you read the rest of Apocrypha, you realize very, very quickly that our Messiah was with his Father long before creation was ever created. There was a realm and there's a place where Messiah probably grew up under the hand of his Father, and he knows exactly what his Father's wishes are. He lived in this world. He grew up under these same commandments that we were given. And in fact, when you read the Apocrypha, you will find that the Torah was actually written long before that Moshe ever put it down. We had a set of guidelines, a set of rules. In fact, going even further, all of the Shamayim is celebrating Shabbat, and they've been keeping Shabbat long before creation was ever here. So none of this is new. This is the same things that the realms of the world are keeping because of our Creator. So if you come in the name of your Creator, if you came in the name of your dad, then the last thing you're going to do is say the laws are gone. Have at it. Enjoy. Can you imagine what a parent would say if you sent your son to be a delegate and your son went and took an entire country and made them rebels, and this whole country broke out in sin? What in the world would you be thinking? Continuing on. 10. And as he entered into Jerusalem, all the city was stirred, saying, Who is this? And the crowd said, This is Yahushua, the Nabi from Nazareth of Galilee. Right? So Galilee, he's a Nazarene, right? This is what it's saying. And Yahushua went into the Mikdash, the temple of Elohim, and drove out all those buying and selling in the Mikdash, and overturned the tables of the money changers and the seats of those who sold doves. Okay, what happened here, fellas?
So these guys are in the temple in the house of Yahuwah, selling and buying stuff. This is a place of worship, and they go in there. So Yahushua goes in there, sees this, and he flips the table. He completely tosses the whole place, and sees that he just out of rage and respect for his Father, he tosses the whole place.
Now, this is a little bit different than the Jesus who loves everybody, who gives grace to everybody, who heals everybody, and doesn't care about what his dad has to say. Because that is the Jesus that we will learn in religion. When you have orchestrated religions and you look at what does this religion, what do they believe, they will give you a set of guidelines. Every single religion has this. So we have our Messiah who came in the name of his Father, and now he's going into this. Now, do you guys think that these guys who were the merchants, do you think they went easily? Do you think that they were okay where they lost their income for the day? Because this was their income. These guys were going into there and they were selling the birds. They were selling all of the sacrifices right there in the temple. Now, does this sound like a Messiah this week, or what does this sound like?
No, it sounds like someone who is strong and ready to fight for what he believes in.
Yeah, this is not a weak. This is not the weak Messiah that we've been sold. This is a tough Messiah who went out there. In other scriptures, we hear that he took a whip, made a horsehair, and he went in there. And this guy's kicking tables over, guys. This is not somebody. If you were a merchant and some dude came into you and started messing with you, you're going to fight for your money. You're going to fight for your spot at the market. You're not going to let some dude come over. But then you have Messiah. Homeboy comes in there and he is kicking the tables over. He's whipping stuff, flipping things over. People are scared, right? You don't mess with Messiah when he comes in this aspect. And why did he say this? 13, he said to them, "It has been written, my house shall be called a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of robbers." Okay, that's why. This is why Messiah kicked the things over, right? Kicked everything. He went. This is an amazing part of the story that we hear in a couple different parts of the Besorah, and it's awesome. It is really, really awesome. 14, and blind and lame ones came to him in the Mikdash, and he healed them. And when the chief Kohanim, the priests and scribes, saw the wonders which he did, and the children crying out in the Mikdash and saying, "Hoshiana to the son of David, to the Ben of David," they were greatly displeased. All right, why were the chief Kohanim and the scribes, why were they upset about this? When the people were crying out, it says specifically the people were crying, "Hoshiana to the son of David." Why did this upset these guys?
Well, because they thought they were the special ones, and they're losing basically attention here. And also, they don't believe in Yehoshua. They don't think he is their Messiah. He doesn't think he's the one to come and basically free them of what they thought was bondage.
This is new school to them, right? This is something new that they haven't seen. They haven't heard somebody like Messiah that is in there talking. And it's a power, right? They're losing power is what they're losing. And with power comes money. Because every single one of these people that were going into these things were making these Pharisees and Sadducees really rich, right? Everybody's dumping their money in there, and this was all coming back. So all of a sudden, you have Messiah who's messing with their way of making money, and they don't like it. They're not happy. 16. They were greatly displeased and said to him, "Do you hear what they say?" Dang it. Sorry, guys. 21?
16.
16?
Yeah, 21:16.
21:16. Okay, let me go right there. Sorry, everyone. This is a touchy app. Okay, going back to the end of 15. And they were greatly displeased and said to him, "Do you hear what these say?" And Yahushua said to them, "Yes. Have you never read, out of the mouth of children and nurslings you have perfected praise?" So what did Messiah say? Did he condemn them for saying what they were saying?
No, he basically said this is what it is out of children and basically people who are new in faith are going to be praising. I think it's a passage out of Isaiah.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, this is, I mean, it's in quotes here. I think this did come out of Isaiah. Is this out of Isaiah?
I'm pretty sure.
Pretty sure. You actually typed the scriptures up and reread it. We read it over and over and over. Can you not tell me this? Okay. 17, right? And having left them, he went out of the city of Bet Aniah and spent the night there. And returning to the city early in the morning, he became hungry. And seeing a single fig tree by the way, he came to it and found not on it but leaves, and said to it, "Let no fruit grow on you ever again." And immediately the fig tree withered. And the disciples, the Talmudim, seeing it, marveled, saying, "How did the fig tree wither so soon?" Okay, this is prophecy right here, right? This is the fig tree. This is our Messiah that is literally right before their eyes, killing things off, right? The fig tree, Israel as it is in the terms of a fig. Interesting stuff, right? And Yahushua answering said to them, "Truly I say, if you have belief and do not doubt, you shall not only do what was done to the fig tree, but even if you say to this mountain, be removed and be thrown into the sea, it shall be done." We hear a lot about faith, right? We hear a lot about faith in scriptures. We hear a lot of it about mustard seeds and about how the kingdom is mustard seeds and faith. You know, it's faith is one of these things that in religion, that will sell you as faith. And I don't necessarily even think that you need faith when you look around and you see that a creator has obviously created our entire environment. For us being out here in the jungles, we don't have the same kind of world that the rest of the world has. I know that's hard to understand, but we have so many different kinds of bugs, so many different kinds of grass, so many different kinds of weeds, so many different kinds of vines. it all sits there and works in harmony and works in unison along with all of the critters and all the stuff that literally will keep us up all night. We have bugs we call the tambourine man that sit there and are so loud you cannot sleep. There is a absolute creator that has magnified and is a majestic engineer, the greatest engineer of all. And my questions to him, to the creator of the universe, is how long has it taken you to figure out the ant? How long did it figure out to build every single one of these things, or was it just amazingly perfect when you put it together to begin with? Right? Because everything works in harmony, it works in unison, and the human body in of itself is a miracle of a creator, right? Your nose is above your knees, right? Imagine your nose on your knees, that you break your nose every time you hit the wall, right? You don't have your ears on your arms. You're not sitting there smashing your amazing sounds every time you smash a bug on your arm, right? There's things that we have been built with that are all around us that prove without a shadow of a doubt that something has created. An intelligent designer has created us. So when you put all that together, and when you are given the Torah, when you are given the rest of the scriptures, and you realize that not only do we have a wonderful creator that put all of this together, but he's also put out a calling sign, he's also put out a call that all of us are able to seek a creator and to be under the leadership of his son in a kingdom, in a world. That is amazing. It is simply amazing. Now, continuing on. Anyone know where we're at? 22, I think, right?
Yeah.
And whatever you ask in prayer, believing, you shall receive. Big stuff, right? A lot of people don't get this though, right? You can believe, we can believe, we can believe, we can believe, and it doesn't happen. But Messiah just said, you shall receive. What happens if we don't receive it? Why haven't we received it? Well, it's probably not in the will of our creator, right? A lot of times we will pray for stuff that doesn't benefit us. We may think it benefits us, but years later, you look at that and you go, man, if that prayer would have been answered, everything in my life would have been completely upside down. It wouldn't have made any sense. And so when you understand that your prayers will be answered based upon your needs, and that truly, when you pray, our creator already knows what we need. He will give to us. And the birds of the field, nobody's sitting around there with a starving sign. You don't see birds out here in the jungles that are laying down starving to death. Nobody. They're all sitting around singing. You just don't see animals that are starving to death out here. It's a cycle. Now, continuing on. 23. And when he had come into the Mikdash, the chief Kohanim and the elders of the people came to him as he was teaching and said, by what authority are you doing these? And who gave you this authority? And Yahushua answering said to them, I shall ask you one question too, which if you answer me, I also shall say to you by what authority I do these. The immersion of Yochanan. The immersion, so basically the baptism of John, where did it come from? From the heavens, from the Shamaim, or from men? So they reasoned among themselves, saying, if we say from the Shamaim, he will say to us, then why did you not believe him? This is the problem when you start arguing with a creator's son who lived with his father under the Torah. You can't have these petty little arguments. He's going to own you all over, right? He simply asked a question. These guys were so perturbed by the answers they had to give that they decided that was the wrong question to even ask. 26. They said, 26, but if we say from men, we fear the crowd, for all hold Yochanan as a Navi, as a prophet. And they answered Yahushua and said, we do not know. And he said to them, neither do I say to you by what authority I do these. But what do you think? A man had 2 sons, and he came to the first and said, son, go, work today in my vineyard. And answering said, I do not want to. But afterwards he repented and went. And having come to the second, he said similarly. And he answering said, I go, master. But he did not go. Which of the 2 did the desire of the father? They said to him, the first one. Yahushua said to them, truly, I say to you that tax collectors and whores are entering into the reign of Elohim before you. For Yochanan came to you in the way of righteousness, and you did not believe him. But tax collectors and whores believed him. And when you saw it, you did not repent afterwards to believe him. So these are one of these things, and this is why I love ministering to our brothers and sisters in chains. I get to deal with people that have done stuff that I probably couldn't even repeat here on YouTube without getting some sort of weird strike. It's just these people have lived a different kind of life, and by the time that I make it to them, It's very, very interesting. And if our Messiah is talking about tax collectors and whores, I realize they're not the serial killers I'm talking about, but there's only one sin that I've ever read in scriptures that is a death sentence, and it's blaspheming against the Ruach HaKodesh, the hand of our Creator. So all of these guys, even though they've done horrible, evil, nasty things, there's a way forward. And this is why I keep crunching them with the scriptures. If you guys think I'm popping you guys with Torah commands all the time, you should see how I'm popping these guys in prisons. I do not send. There you go. Some sound effects right there, popping them in, right? This is what they get from me. They always get the end of their emails, and we go over 4 or 5 commands. I'm always busting them up because a lot of them don't care. A lot of them just want to hear from me. They don't want to hear what I'm here to talk to them about. But they can be saved. They can all be saved, regardless what happens. They will have a day of accounting, but it's going to there's a way forward. Continuing on, Messiah says this. Hear another parable. There was a certain man, a householder, who planted a vineyard and placed a hedge around it and dug a wine press in it and built a watchtower, and he leased it to farmers that went abroad. And when the season of the fruits drew near, he sent his servants to the farmers to receive its fruit. And the farmers took his servants and beat one, and they killed one, and they stoned another. And he sent the other servants, more than the first, and they did likewise to them. And at last he sent his son to them, saying, They shall respect my son. But when the farmers saw the son, they said among themselves, This is the heir. Come, let us kill him, and let us possess his inheritance. And they took him and threw him out of the vineyard and killed him. Therefore, when the master of the vineyard comes, what shall he do to those farmers? Okay, what are we even talking about for anybody that does not understand what this just was talking about? What is this?
This is a parable. This is Israel. The farmers are Israel. The farmers are the Pharisees. They are the people in charge. And the people, the head farmer, the person that made the vineyard is Yahuwah, is the Most High. And he sends his prophets, the farmers before the work, he sends to go collect some stuff. Those are the prophets. Those are the people that came to warn them before that they were out of Torah, out of line. And they killed them all. They stoned them. They put them to death. We have Yochanan the Baptist who was beheaded for this. And then he sends, I'm going to send my son because he will obey. And they're going to kill him. And he is the son that they are going to kill. Yeah, they're going to kill him. Even John the Baptist's dad was killed at the altar. All of these people, everybody, and this is, there's not, guys, if you're looking for an easy way out of this so-called world, Torah keeping isn't it, right? In fact, we're going to be challenged more. We're going to be, you're going to have a band of demons that are always going to be on your tail, but you're always going to have legions of messengers that are there willing to defend you. And I believe this without a shadow of a doubt, that if we could see what's going on in the other realms, that we would understand that we are so protected being under the hand of our Creator. But if you think that there's blessings coming, if you're sitting there eating pig and worshiping on the wrong day, you don't care about the laws, you tell other people they're going to hell because they keep the laws, it's not going to be a pleasant day on the day of accounting. It's going to be tough. And so let's continue on with this. Where was that at? 41. So this is what the owner of the field is going to say to them. They said to him, evil ones, he shall bring them to evil destruction and lease the vineyard to other farmers who shall give to him the fruits in their seasons. All right, in our world that we are in right now, who is this? Who's he going to give the farm to? People who are obeying the Torah.
The people that are loyal to our Creator. Those who are willing to bear good fruit. Those who are willing to make a change and make a stand. So, 42. Yahushua said to them, Did you never read in the scriptures, the stone which the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone? This is from Yahuwah and is marvelous in our eyes. Because of this, I say to you, the reign of Elohim shall be taken from you and given to a nation bringing forth the fruits of it. And he who falls on this stone shall be broken. But on whomever it falls, he shall be pulverized. Let's talk about this real quick, guys. He's quoting out of Isaiah right here in 42. And we're talking about the chief cornerstone. And this is from Yahuwah and is marvelous in our eyes. Now, when he gives this other reign over to the people who are going to be taking care of it, how do we take care of it? What does that look like?
That is us obeying the Torah. That is us believing in the Messiah.
Exactly. It's Revelation 14:12. It's those who have the faith of our Messiah and those who keep the laws, statutes, and commandments. 44 is very interesting because it says, he who falls on this stone shall be broken, but on whomever it falls, he shall be pulverized. We're talking the cornerstone. The cornerstone is obviously our Messiah, but if you look even deeper, the cornerstone of our entire, what I guess you would call faith, or what our beliefs are, is the Torah. If you don't have the first 5 books of scriptures, then you are believing in something that doesn't make any sense at all. The entire book must be kept as a whole versus picking and choosing. And so when we have this, and when we're talking about the cornerstone, we're talking about Torah, we're talking about our Messiah, and we're talking about that nothing is going to stand at the end of time, that whatever the Torah judges, the Torah is going to be, it's going to be our laws for all time. And if we don't like it now, you're not going to make the kingdom and the rest of the people in this world, they love the Satanists. Look at last night. Wasn't it last night? Was it the 31st? Was that Halloween?
2 days ago.
2 days ago. You had people dressing up, right, as devils and demons. Literally dressing up as devils and demons and running a seance. Sending your kids out to trick or treat, right? It's a complete satanic witch fest. And this is what we're talking about. The people of our Creator, we don't allow things like this, right? We don't go trick or treating. We don't let our kids dress up as devils and demons and things of this nature. We look different. Continuing on. 45. And the chief Kohanim and the Pharisees, having heard his parables, knew that he was speaking to them. And seeking to lay hands on him, they feared the crowds, seeing they held him to be a Nabi. Okay, guys, that is an amazing part of these stories. These are amazing scriptures that we have. Yeah, this is by basic Torah is able to see the glory of Yah. Yeah, and that's the glory of Yah, right? When he was around us. And it sounds like it's starting to rain here, guys, so it's right on time. So we actually made it right before it raining. So I'll give it a moment's silence so you can hear my tin roof. And there we go. All right, so with that, everybody, we love you all. Jade, will you please bless our brothers and sisters?
Yahuwah barak you and guard you. Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and show favor to you. He will lift his face upon you and give you peace. Thus they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I myself shall barak them.
All right, everybody, we love you all. Keep those laws, statutes, and commandments, guys. Let's high-five each other in the kingdom to come. Let's do it.
Oh, that you would rend the heavens and come down. Oh, that you would rend the heavens and come down. Oh, that you would rend the heavens and come down. Let the mountains shake, let the earth be moved, let the nations may tremble at your presence. Let your fire burn, let the waters boil, let your name be known to this generation, and come down. That you would rend the heavens and come down. Oh, that you would rend the heavens and come down. Will you restrain yourself any longer? Don't hide your face in your anger. When Jerusalem is oppressed by the nations, the
right, guys, much love to everybody. You can hear the rain kind of came. It's kind of like slowing down a little bit. But the answer to the Sefer is an abominable version of scriptures. It has diluted the deity of our Creator and His Son. They basically call Him the exact same thing. They've made translation errors that are literally salvation killers, and they won't do anything about it. We used to teach from the Sefer, and that was the whole reason we got where we're at and why we have Yah Scriptures is because it was a horrible version. So you guys can get Yah Scriptures. It's free of charge at yahscriptures.com. Much love to you guys all. May Yahuwah bless you and keep you. May His light forever shine on you. May He forever light your life, and may the Torah forever be a part of your world. And may we forever see each other in the kingdom to come. Much love to you all. We love you all.
Shabbat